All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Christian again, back with another episode of Losing My Mind, the podcast dedicated to all things brain cancer related. Um, well, today was my big day going to Duke, and waiting to hear back from UNC about the possibility of me getting into their phase one CAR T cell therapy trial. Um, and we had just started heading to Duke when UNC called. So, I mean, I guess their review board meets pretty quickly, and we received a phone call. I believe it was before even 9:30. We were just really on our way headed to Duke at the time we got the call. And although there might be still a chance for me to get in, looks like I missed my window by just a couple of weeks due to the severe edema that still remained in my head from the uh, CAT scan and the MRI I had done a little over a week ago. Um, you got to realize these phase one trials are very, very time sensitive. There's usually a team of doctors, and they all have their own patients who are or also qualified for the phase one trials, and they're pushing as hard as they can to get their most qualified patients onto these programs as soon as possible. And so, for me personally, it looks like I missed my window. Um, we're still we're still weighing that option because they said that if I can get another well, anyway, let's skip that right now and go straight to what we did find. So it looks like I missed my window on this CAR T cell therapy phase one trial with UNC, but at the same time, when I got to Duke, we got some good news, which is something my wife wanted to hear. My wife is a huge fan of Duke, with Duke being one of the top cancer centers in the country. She was very happy to hear that they immediately accepted me into their phase one clinical trial, which is slightly different than the CAR T cell therapy, but kind of operates in a similar way as far as effects and what they're trying to do. Um, and so right now, I'm just going to compare the pluses and minuses of both programs and what it would have meant for me. Um, had I gotten into the CAR T cell therapy trial, like I said before in previous episodes, it would involve number one, a trip up to UNC to get my blood drawn, and then come back here and wait 4 or 5 weeks while they genetically altered in a lab, and then I brought back to UNC for my second longer stay, which would be um, blood infusions of my new T cell enhanced blood, followed by 4 to 5 weeks of constant observance, constant tests to make sure my body's not rejecting it. Excuse me. And if there are, they can deal with any complications that arise right there on the spot. Um, but it would require a reoccurrence of a second tumor and followed by another resection, which truthfully was kind of scared the crap out of me. I'm more scared of the resection surgery than I am of the actual tumor itself at this point, because so many things can go wrong in when you have multiple resections. Um, Even though I was left with a slight permanent deficit from my first resection, it could have gone much worse. I read stories all the time of somebody who's gone through a successful first resection, and then they get a second or a third one, and they end up going blind, or they wake up paralyzed on the left side. And I simply didn't want to do that. So that's the one good thing about this trial therapy going on at Duke right now, is that it doesn't necessarily require a another resection of a tumor. It's all based on tumor size. So um, we immediately called the PA of my neurosurgeon who took out my first tumor, and he scheduled me for a guided CT scan for this Friday morning at 9 a.m., which I'll be going into, where they will directly scan the area where my first tumor was removed to see what's there, see how fast it's growing, and how big it is. Um, to get into this program at Duke, it was more like an immediate acceptance or denial sort of thing. So of course, I agreed to participate in it if this was my only option, since CAR T seems to have been since I missed that by just a couple of weeks. So right now that's where we're at. It's and I put up a brief study overview of what this trial involves, which I say in some ways is very similar to the CAR T cell therapy, except it's not blood infusions. These antibodies that they're going to combine with my blood to help enhance my T cells will actually be delivered via catheter, which will be implanted on my head above where the tumor was originally removed. They'll if something is found on the guided CT scan on Friday, they will perform the biopsy themselves to check to see if the tissue is ready for this new trial, or if I do need to have some sort of resection done. But the doctor said that that's not necessarily required because it seems to be it's also working on people with or without resections or with or without tumor present. But if the tumor does grow to be a certain size, they're going to want that removed. The good news is I have time. Right now, it's just they want the scans done, and then they want me to be weaned off of these steroids that I'm on completely. When I got there and I met with the team, I was immediately given, these small little the cognitive tests and physical tests to see if I'm to gauge me, I guess, to see if I'm ready to go into it immediately upon phone calls. I mean, immediately upon request. And I passed those tests. So after I passed those tests, then the doctor leading the team was sent into the room to discuss with me a brief overview of what to expect. So instead of with the CAR T cell therapy, instead of being at the hospital for 4 to 5 weeks under constant observance, if and when this starts, I will go up there. I will get the catheter in place in my head. The medicine will be basically injected directly into the cavity where the tumor was removed or where it's still existing or still might be growing. And then I'll be in the hospital for about 4 days, and I'll be allowed to come home. And after that, it's just I return once a month to get an injection in my neck to, I guess, keep the new T cell activity activated for a while. And he said that won't last forever. Eventually, those injections will stop, especially as my body adapts to it, and they can continue seeing progress that it's maintaining its efficacy. So that's a good thing. So, and the results itself, he said, are very similar to the CAR T cell therapy itself. This is just a different approach. And with this approach, what is it called? The catheter is basically what they call a convection enhanced delivery system, using an intracerebral catheter placed with the enhancing portion of the tumor, based on phase 1 studies of D2C7IT alone in combination with another drug. With adult patients with recurrent glioblastoma, that will determine the amount that they deliver to me. And like I said, my wife is just thrilled because she loves Duke. She's she's been around cancer. She's worked with Cancer Center for years, and that's where her heart was. She wanted to go to Duke. Personally, my heart was set on the CAR T cell therapy, but this isn't a waiting game. I can't wait forever. And so before I left Duke today, before they let me out, they said, "Hey, you're going to get a call at 9 a.m. We suggest that you answer that phone call because if you do not, you may not receive another phone call, and if you do, it may be a very long time." And hearing the words "very long time" when you got stage 4 GBM is not something you want to hear. So I'll be up at the crack of dawn, drinking my coffee, getting myself alert and ready, and answering any and all phone calls that occur before 9 to get this over with. I've already given my permission to participate in this trial, and I can't wait to get started. Truthfully, now that this is really my only option available to me realistically. So Friday, the new the new guided CT scan, take a look at what's going on in that area that was too clouded by edema for the UNC people to make a decision, and then check out the size of the remaining tumor, its growth rate, and then followed by, I have about 2 months before this will get started. So, and during those 2 months, they'll keep doing MRIs to make sure that my tumor isn't growing out of control and doesn't need to be resected. And then followed by weaning me off all these steroids because I was on a very, very high dose of steroids. But I passed their preliminary exams, and once I did that, the whole team came pouring in, I guess, to basically sell me on this. And they didn't have to sell my wife on anything. She was nodding. She was doing a lot of yes nodding the entire time, just looking at me with her bright blue eyes, blinking whatnot. I knew what that meant. She was like, "You're doing this, one way or the other. You're doing this." So this is what it looks like I'm going to be doing, folks. So I hope it goes well. And I got so much information I need to study and go over. And over the next day or two, I'll put together a much better episode, describe it in detail, much more about what this trial includes and how it's going to go. And right now, Duke is the only place in the country that's actually doing this particular trial. So there's not too many places to go, and options are limited. And especially when it comes to phase 1 stages of these trials, those are the hardest to get into. There's the fewest spots, and you have to be ready right when they call you. And so that's what I plan on doing. So, so that's pretty much all I have to say for right now. I definitely got in with Duke, and I just got to answer that phone in the morning, because if I don't answer that phone, I guess that they're just going to move on to the next test subject that's ready, who does answer that phone. So when I sign off, I'm going to try to get me a little bit more sleep. Of course, the steroids are still waking me up and not letting me sleep through the night. I went all the way to Duke this morning. I had been up since 11:30 last night, and I was exhausted. And I'm still exhausted, but I'm also reinvigorated, because it's nice to know I have somewhere I'm going to be going, working on a trial study that has already worked on, it's working on people with reoccurrence. It's also working on people who have not had reoccurrence yet. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily require another resection, which has terrified me. I was just talking to a couple of guys in some of my support groups who have just been, their life is, they've suffered some severe deficits from just a couple of resections. So I want to keep the number of resections I get to a minimum as possible. So I guess we'll know a lot more on that on Friday, and followed by I have a second MRI scheduled in about a month. So right now it's about resting and regaining. Every day I'm getting healthier. My appetite's returning. My cognitive ability is returning. I think more like myself now. My state of confusion seems to be quickly leaving me. And that's all a good thing. It's like having myself back for a little bit. I get to see some buddies on Friday that I hang out with a lot, and I think they're going to see a drastic difference to me that they saw 2 weeks ago when they last saw me, because I could see the worry in their eyes when I had lost mobility in my left arm and left hand. I could just see that it was just a look of concern from them I hadn't seen before. So I think they'll be pleasantly surprised when they see me how much I've recovered in just 2 weeks, after being put on the steroid to reduce the swelling that was causing all the problems. So I can't wait to see them, and I can't wait to talk to them about what I'm going to be doing here. But I've got so much information to go over, and I will put together a better podcast explaining a little bit more about this. So if any of you are on the east side, coast of the country, or if you're able to make these studies from anywhere in the country and you're interested in it, I'll get the information out to you. You can look it up yourself and see if it's right for you. Talk to your doctor, see if it's right for you. But that's it for right now. I'm going to sign off and try to get some sleep and get ready for this phone call in the morning. And once again, thanks for watching. And I will, until the next episode, I'll talk to you then. Later.